What's up everybody, Teldo here, and today we're going to have a look at Artifact, and I've been extremely excited for this game. I've been looking forward to be playing it for like over half a year already. I've been following Reddit nonstop, and I got really lucky to get into the closed beta roughly a month ago. The NDA for this game drops on Saturday this weekend at 1 a.m., so basically Sunday for Europeans. That means I'm going to start streaming the game on Sunday. I'm going to be focusing a lot on this game, and I will make a bunch of content, some tutorial stuff here and there as well. And I figured I would do a little tutorial for you guys where I play against a bot and just explain the basics, because the game can be really overwhelming at first and a little convoluted, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that difficult to get the basics. But overall, there's some incredible depth in this game, and there's some crazy decision making that can get very complex down the road, which is something that just really intrigues me about this game. Lots of stuff that really excites me about this game, but I'm gonna just get into the gameplay and showcase how the game actually works. So we're playing against this random bot. We're going to use the pre-made decks that will come with the game. Honestly, those decks are not amazing, but they're okay, and they will get the job done to explain whatever is happening. So as you could see here, it might get a little overwhelming in the beginning, but there are 3 boards that you will have to fight for. Every board has a tower for each player, which has 40 health, and as you can see, we're gonna deal 2 damage with this creep to that tower. The goal is to destroy 2 towers to win the game, or once you destroyed 1 tower in a lane, it gets replaced by the Ancient, which has 80 health. So you can also win the game by just pushing 1 lane really hard, but it will be more difficult because the Ancient overall has more health than just getting a second tower. Another thing that you might have noticed, I didn't really have any control of how to deploy my units in the beginning, so there's some randomness there. But you have quite a bit of control to really do something about those things later on. Anyway, so let's just look at our first lane and explain what is going on here. We have Sven here on the opposing side. He's one of the heroes, and we have a hero here, Necrophos. And if I were to just end my action right now, they would just start attacking each other. Well, if I were to end my action, he would have a chance to do something. And if he would pass after I passed, if both players pass together, it just proceeds to the combat phase, and they would start hitting each other. There's an attack value and a health value. I have only 5 attack and 6 health, so I'm gonna go down to 1 health if I do this. But I also have some cards, and you can see I have some blue cards and some black cards. And since I only have a black hero in this lane, I can only use my untested grunt here. Now the problem is, because Sven has the passive ability that makes him cleave half of his attack damage to the side, you can see this minion, even though it's not being attacked really, is going to take 2 damage. And if I summon my 4/2 untested grunt to the right, it would die instantly to Sven as well, thanks to the cleave. So I'm just going to play to the left here, or I could just wait and check what's going on in the other lanes and see if I want to play it anywhere else. You will have to plan into the future in this kind of game, which makes it really in-depth and very... Man, it makes it really good. I love this game because there's a lot of things that you can do. Anyway, let's just summon the grunt here and then see what happens. Let's see if he does anything about it. He plays a Bronze Legionnaire. Well, the Bronze Legionnaire is a 4/2/2. It has 2 armor. That means it reduces the damage of every incoming damage source by 2. So instead of dealing 4 damage to him, we only deal 2 damage, but it's still enough to kill it. And honestly, it's a great trade for us because the Bronze Legionnaire is overall stronger. So I'm happy with this. So I pass now. He has no mana to play anything else anymore. Or shouldn't really. Well, he could do a Poison Strike actually, but whatever. He doesn't do anything. The combat phase resolved. I went down to 1 health, he went down to 6 health. It's not looking too great here, but that's just how things go. And my deck is a little slower in the beginning anyway, even though, yeah, the deck isn't that great in general, but anyway. And then in the mid lane, same deal. We have 1 card we could play. It deals 3 damage to a unit, but it doesn't really do anything. The creeps have 4 health. This guy has 11 health and 1 armor, so it would only deal 2 damage here. We can't really do much here, so we're just gonna pass and see what he does. The cool thing about this game is that you can give your bots all kinds of decks. Every card, they have every card in the game, and they can play with every card too. I haven't really played much against bots, to be honest, but I like the idea of that. That you could just give them any constructed deck and play against it, and maybe there's going to be like, I wonder if there's going to be difficulty sliders in the future as well to actually make them not too bad. Anyway, all right, so now we have our first blue hero here. We have a lightning strike in our hand. It deals 6 damage to the enemy tower, which basically does nothing right now. And we have an ignite, which is a really powerful card. It's an improvement, and the interesting thing about improvements is that you can play it into any lane. We can play it into this lane, we can play it here or here in the first lane. And what this does, it will deal 1 piercing damage to each enemy before the action phase. If you were to play it into the third lane, which we're in right now, it wouldn't do anything right now. It would do something next turn before they start, before like right as we switch to this lane, it would deal 1 damage to every enemy. But what's interesting here, you can see the Sven has 6 health. We deal 5 damage here, so we could put it in the first lane and get him in range for our Necrophos to kill. Generally, it makes sense to like either put it into a lane where you can like maybe get a little, where you can probably get some value right away with it, where you can maybe, as here, just get a kill on Sven, or where there's a lot of creeps on the enemy side, so you can like hit multiple ones and get more value out of it. But I'm just gonna put it in the first lane now, so we can contest this, and then we'll see what he will do. Nothing. Okay. Okay. And now, this was a shopping phase. Maybe I should have explained something here. I don't know. It just moved on because I have no gold. I'm going to explain it in the second phase, but after every phase, there's a shopping phase, and you can buy different stuff with the gold that you get, and if you kill creeps, you get 1 gold. If you kill heroes, you get 5 gold, and there's some cards that will also allow you to get some more gold. But I'm going to explain more about that later when we can actually buy something. Then here, this is the deployment phase right now. What happens in the deployment phase, after every round it happens, you get 2 random creeps that spawn in random lanes. So we have 1 creep spawning left and 1 creep spawning right. We can also see where his creeps would spawn. And then we deploy our second hero, or like the first hero after the starting heroes, basically. And this is one of the most important things about this game. You have to really decide and be smart about where you put your heroes, right? It decides where you can play your cards, and it just makes a huge difference which battles you can win and which you can't. And there's a few things that you need to know, like, for example, he gets a creep mid, and if I were to put my ogre into the mid lane, it would fill up in front of this guy, and he's a 6-1-11, so it would go there basically guaranteed, unless he plays his Lycan here as well. Anyway, if we play it here, we have a pretty basically almost guaranteed that we go in front of this guy, and it's bad for us. If we play it in the third lane, since we have a creep going here as well, we're going to have 3 units here in total. So that means that there's going to be a 50% chance that our ogre goes in front of the green hero, or a 50% chance that it goes in front of the creep there, because we're gonna have 3 units there. One of those 2 is gonna fill up in front, and then the other one is either gonna go to the left or to the right and face this other creep that's going there. Might be a little hard to wrap your head around initially, but it's important that you understand how deployment works. I think the best and easiest way to do this is go to the left, make sure that we somehow win the first lane. Our Necrophos is most likely gonna die here, and yeah, let's see how it goes. He goes with Lycan left as well. Now, this could be a little tricky. He has initiative, and he has a card called Sucker Punch, so we could just punch our Necrophos and kill him instantly with it, and that wouldn't be very good for us. But he didn't do that. Okay. So now this is, this is interesting. What can we do here? So technically we could use Ventriloquy to taunt a unit. So we could make it that he attacks this creep with both of his units, but since Sven cleaves, it's still gonna kill our Necrophos, so that's not very good. We can play Dimensional Portal to summon a few melee creeps, but we're probably just gonna, before our black hero gets out of this lane, we're just gonna attack this Satire here, deal 3 damage to it, that it dies at the end of the combat phase. And then we let it resolve. Lots of stuff died here. Sven died, my Necrophos died. And mid lane is still not looking too great. Even enraged is due to hit our tower a little bit harder. That's not too great, and our Debbie is not very good at killing creeps because she takes 2 damage every turn, but she deals 9 damage to heroes or towers, so you want her to hit towers or heroes. And then on the right lane, we're probably just going to do a dimensional portal, which summons 3 melee creeps, so we can like go a little wider here and make it harder for him to stop us. Okay, use a Vernus Blessing to buff up his dude with +2 attack. That's also interesting. It's a modification. It says modify a unit with +2 attack. That means it will stay on him forever, even after he dies. And then when he comes back... Oh, that's something I should have mentioned too, right? Sven and Necrophos died. That means that they will sit out this next turn, basically, and then after they come back, they will be able to deploy in one of the 3 lanes again. So if your heroes die, yes, you lose them for a turn, and yes, your opponent gets 5 gold for it as well. So heroes dying is usually bad, but it's not the worst thing in the world, and it's something that you will learn relatively quickly, that your heroes dying because of a bad starting flop can be frustrating, but at the same time, it's really not that bad, because when your hero comes back, you have the choice to go into any lane, and you will have to win only 2 lanes. Having that free will to deploy them wherever can really give you a big advantage if your opponent has like 2 or 3 heroes stranded in one lane that he is winning. You can just make sure that you win the other 2 lanes, right? Anyway, and here's the shopping phase. So what's interesting about this, on the right side, we have the consumables tab. There's 4 consumables in the game. There's 2 healing items. There's a town portal scroll, which gets one of your heroes out of the combat, and you can deploy them instantly next round after they got healed to full and everything. And there's a flask which will draw a card for you. Then in the middle, we have the item deck, which is just a deck. It's a bunch of items that you put in yourself. Here's my deck list, and in this item deck, there's 2 leather armors, a short sword. There's like a few different items here, and the Keenfolk Musket is one of them. And then on the left, which is really interesting, there's a secret shop, which has the chance of any item, except for consumables, any item can be in there. And right now we have the face boots, and they're pretty good. So let me see, we have 12 gold. One thing that you always also should consider, if you buy in the secret shop, you can only get that one item that's in there, and that's it for that round. Then next round you get another item offered again. But if you buy from your own shop, same with the consumables as well. If you buy from your own shop, though, the next item will show up after you buy the Keenfolk Musket, right? So you have to like think, okay, I have 12 gold right now. I could get the face boots, but then I can't get the Keenfolk Musket anymore, and the full heal is probably not that great because it's relatively expensive, but if I really want to keep a unit alive, I could get the full heal as well. The Keenfolk Musket doesn't really do that much right now either. So, But just to show you guys about the item deck, I can just do this and you see another item fills up. And this is quite an advantage because now if I wanted some health, I get some health now anyway because I get a really cheap cloak with 4 health. And I couldn't have really made big use of the face boots anyway, so this was probably the right call. And we have 2 gold left over for the future shopping phases. Okay, let's see, how do we do this now? So we're doing okay in the left lane because we have an Ignite running there, but our Ogre is going to be in trouble because he is getting 2 creeps in there. Mid lane, we have a 50% chance of going in front of the Ogre, which is something we don't really want, but in the right lane, 2 blue heroes in the same lane usually aren't that great because they don't have strong bodies, but they have really powerful spells. So, no, mid is very bad. We might have to just go left. We're gonna probably give up the mid lane. Alright. Mid is bad because we have 6 health, and we have a 50% chance of just dying instantly to this guy. We don't want that. Here, our Ogre is gonna get hit really hard. It's not very good for us. We just drew 2 Mystic Flares. We can't quite use them, but they're very powerful. The Keenfolk Musket is interesting because the Skywrath Mage has an ability that gives units -2 armor. And that armor can go into the negative. It can prevent some damage, but if it goes into the negative, it also amplifies damage. So what we can do here, we can equip the Keenfolk Musket here or we can use the ability from the Skywrath Mage, which makes it that an enemy hero and their neighbors will have -2 armor. So we can use it here and give -2 armor to all of those guys.
I'll leave you broken.
He just did Crippling Blow to reduce the damage of my Ogre. Very interesting. Alright, so I'm gonna do this. Usually it's better to like put this on someone who's gonna stay alive, but I'm gonna put this on this because it gives him 2 more attack. That means we will deal 5 damage to Ursa.
We're gonna split some heads open with this.
And then we're gonna use the active ability to hit Ursa as well. And that means that Ursa will die this turn at the end of this turn. And we could use a cloak on someone, but we don't really need it here that badly. So we're just gonna call it with this. Hey. We killed that Ursa. And now here, this is interesting. You can see that our Debbie is attacking the Ogre, even though the Ogre is not in front of her. Now, if you have a unit that has an empty spot in front of them during the deployment phase, you will roll for roads, basically, right? Like the game will just roll for roads in front of that unit, which means that you have a 50% chance that your character just goes in a straight line, and a 25% chance that it goes either right, or a 25% chance that it goes left. And we just rolled the 25% chance that it goes right, which is good for us, because now we can deal some damage to this guy, and we might be able to kill him. And I'm also just going to put a cloak on here, I think. No, actually, I'm going to save it. I don't need it. I don't want to do no accident because he has 2 armor, and at the no accident would only deal 1 damage. So if we roll into this guy again with a lane, then we might have with the path, then we might have a chance to kill him. And right here, I don't really have. There's not really good cards in this deck. Lightning Strike and Ventriloquy doesn't really do anything for us. Okay. This guy does nothing. He gives 1 armor to allies, basically, which makes it that this green hero is not really taking a lot of damage against creeps anymore. I'm just gonna accept it as it is. Next turn I'm gonna have my Mystic Flare, which might be able to turn things around here. So here, this Asset's Veil is nice because you can change the combat target for your hero, but I think I'm just going to go for the Stonehall Cloak, because it's a very, very good item, and you have 1 copy of it in your basic deck here. It's very good because it just keeps growing, and it keeps making... I'm going to get the TP scroll as well. Armor doesn't really do that much. It keeps making your hero bigger and bigger for very cheap money, basically. How do we do this? I want to win the first and the second lane. Our Debbie is probably gonna die mid, but that's okay. I'm just gonna put him left. Our right lane is looking okay because we're really wide. He just put Sven into the middle as well, so he's gonna hit us really hard, which is not very good for us, but it's maybe okay. We have initiative right now. It's a very important part of the game. That means that we go first right now. If he were to go first, he could play something like a Sucker Punch, which would stun the unit in front of him. And then if my blue hero was stunned, he wouldn't deal any damage, and he wouldn't be able to cast blue spells, and that would be really bad for us. And initiative works like this, that if I cast a spell now, I give him the initiative. And if he then casts a spell again, he gives an initiative back to me, right? If I then, after I got the initiative back, just pass, then I keep the initiative until I play a spell again. And it can be really important that sometimes you just do nothing to keep your initiative so you can have this really important spell that you can use in a lane to win it, right? And right here we have a Mystic Flare, and it makes it that it deals 12 damage evenly divided between all enemies, or 3 enemies basically, or an enemy and their neighbors, right? So if I were to cast it on Sven, it would hit Sven, this guy, and this guy, so it would deal 4 damage to each. If I use it here, it would only hit Sven and Lycan because there's no unit over here, right? And because of that, it would split it only between 2 enemies, and then it would deal 6 damage to each of them. So if I do that, I can kill Lycan, and I can also deal 6 damage to Sven, which would get him a lot lower HP. This is actually perfect for us. All right, so I'm gonna put a Stonehall Cloak. I can't save my Skywrath Mage because he's gonna take 9 damage, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's okay. So I'm gonna put a cloak on our Necrophos so he stays nice and healthy. And you can see Sven. Ooh, okay, this is not good though. Alright, it's a little unfortunate. Sven would have gone down to 1 health, but now he played a really powerful item on him, which gives him 4 extra health and 6 regeneration, so it's going to be really hard to ever kill him. So I'm just gonna TP scroll this guy out, I think, because I don't want him to die for free. And then I can redeploy him again with a Mythic Flare next turn and maybe get a kill on Sven. Okay, Sven is gonna be very hard to deal with now. Because he just got healed to full. He just put all his gold onto Sven. We need to somehow be able to deal with him, but it could be difficult for this deck. And then in this lane, we're not winning any lane. We're not doing so hot, guys. Alright. Okay. Let's see. We can put a Traveler's Cloak on Debbie to keep her alive. I don't want her to die quite yet. This guy has 2 armor, so it's a little difficult. We can't quite kill him either. Yeah, I wanted to use an Iron Fog Gold Mine so we can get some gold going. But I also just don't want him to hit this tower for 11 damage. But I think it's okay. Let him just hit the tower for 11 damage. I could have blocked it with an Oglodi Vandal, right? Could have put an Oglodi Vandal in front of him and then he wouldn't have been able to hit the tower for 11. But since we're planning on losing this lane anyway and we just want to delay a little bit, we can delay next turn as well. So let's move on to the 3rd lane. Alright, so... Doesn't seem like he has any good green cards available right now, so we're probably just not going to do anything. We're going to wait it out a little bit. Although the Mystic Flare in the first lane really wouldn't do that much either. So maybe, okay, maybe let's just do the Mystic Flare here. Kill those 2, make sure that we at least have this game, this lane winning. It also gives us some extra gold that we can maybe purchase something useful with. Okay, let's see. The Helm of the Dominator is really interesting. It's just a random item that popped up in the secret shop now, and I can't afford it right now, but I could press this button, pay 1 gold, and hold it. That means that it will show up in the next shopping phase again. So I could do that and buy nothing else, and then if I kill 1 hero, I would have, or 1 hero and 1 creep, or no, actually just 1 hero. I would have enough gold to buy this next turn. However, I don't know how useful it would be. It could be nice. It could be nice. I'm also reconsidering how to win this game because Sven is. I won't be able to deal with Sven anymore. I think with the ring on him and 9 attack. So maybe I am just gonna hold this. Okay, I think I can deal with the guy in the mid lane. You know what? I'm just gonna hold it. YOLO. I regret putting a cloak onto my Necrophos. I'm gonna put both of my blue heroes mid, I believe, because I want to actually just win mid lane now. I'm not gonna be able to win the left lane. Okay, he put them to the right. I'm putting both of them here because our Skywrath Mage has a concussive ability that reduces the armor by 2. Let's see. Okay. Alright, you do your thing. I'm gonna give up the first lane. You can have it. Alright, so what I can do here now. I can use the concussive shot to reduce the armor of this guy to 0. Which I'm gonna do now. He doesn't have any items to save him, so we're probably gonna be fine. Oh, Ogre Conscript is a little annoying, but it's okay. So what we can do now, we can use a Tower Barrage, which would deal 2 damage to every unit. Which would kill 2 of those creeps. Ooh! And I even got lucky. The Ogre has a passive ability which has a 25% chance to copy a spell after you casted it, a boost spell. So we just got a Tower Barrage back, and we could just cast it again, kill this creep, and kill him. Is that something that we want to do, though? No, probably not. I think we're just going to use our Keenfolk Musket. Yeah, we're just going to use the Musket here to kill him.
Did you think you could beat me?
And then... yeah, alright. We held the Helm of the Dominator, so this is actually perfect. We're going to do Battlefield Control here to redirect... oh, and we got a recast again. Lucky. We redirected the Ogre to attack this creep. It gets overkilled like crazy, so it doesn't really matter. And our Ogre stays alive. And we're going to be hitting the tower with a bunch of stuff now. And now we can just resolve this. And then next turn, we can just use our Helm of the Dominator to steal the Ogre from him. Now we just have to make sure that we win this lane somehow. He just used an Enrage to make his Ursa really big for a turn. It gives +4 attack and +4 armor. Our Jamoy, the basic blue hero, has an ability which allows him to draw a card after 4 turns. So we're going to do that. Okay, doesn't help us right now. I think we're just going to accept it as it is. We need a teleport scroll or something to get someone in the right lane to make sure that we win it. Mid lane is probably looking great for us. So now, because we held the Helm of the Dominator, we can just get it now. But we can also just buy this first to check what else we can get, because we still have enough gold now. And then this, and we're also going to get the heal. And now mid is looking good for us. But we want to also get some gold, so we can somehow get our Necrophos out of the left lane. It's really... yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate that our Necrophos is stuck here right now. However, we can actually delay this, possibly by a turn. He only deals 4 damage to the tower right now because the Sven is going into this melee minion. Alright, let's just put a Heartstopper Aura onto our Necrophos. This is the signature spell of Necrophos. Every hero, I didn't explain that earlier, every hero has a signature card, which you have 3 copies of as soon as you put the heroes into your deck. You have 3 copies of that as well. Heartstopper Aura makes it that at the beginning of your combat phase, you deal 2 piercing damage to your enemy's neighbors. So you will deal 2 damage to this guy, and someone over here if there was someone there. But only at the beginning of the next combat phase, so it's pretty slow, but it can get really good later on. So I'm just going to develop it, even though it's not going to matter too much in this lane. Let me see. What do I want to cast in the mid lane? I could decide to just cast a second Heartstopper Aura as well, but I don't think I want to. Actually, I don't think I need it in the second lane, so I'm going to do it here.
No one will stand before.
And if we can ever get him into another lane, he's going to be extremely powerful for us. And we're just trying to delay this lane. The tower is still at 2 health. It's good that he didn't kill the tower this turn, because that means that he won't be able to go for the Ancient very easily. Right? Because the Ancient has 80 health, and if he kills it now, it won't overkill the tower and deal extra damage to the Ancient right away. It will actually just kill the tower, and then the Ancient will pop up with 80 health, and it's gonna be immune for the rest of the turn. So you can't like destroy a tower and immediately push the Ancient. That's why it's important to sometimes delay a little bit. Okay, let's see, how do we do this? Who does get the Helm of the Dominator? We're probably just gonna put it on Ogre.
Remember, there's 2 of us to protect.
To deal with the minus armor that he got, and then we're gonna steal this guy. Haha. And we need to make sure that we can win the last lane somehow with just our blue hero, which can be a little tricky. We could also just play the Oglodi, which is 8 extra damage because it deals 4 damage to the enemy tower as a play effect, and then hits for 4 himself. So that means we would deal 23 damage to the tower, but it's not quite enough. We might actually save it. There's no point in doing this right now. We're probably going to get this tower next turn anyway. We're overwhelming him so hard here, there's no way he can deal with it. And I don't need to do anything else in this lane. And then in this lane, he curved into our Chamoy, which isn't good for us. So we're just going to use battlefield control to redirect this Ursa into this melee creep here. And we have 2 lightning strikes, which deal 12 damage. Boop! We didn't even need to redirect. So, thanks to those 2 lightning strikes, we can kill this tower now. And we don't really need to put health on him anymore because this lane is won, and I don't really care about it anymore. And now we just have to win mid lane, which is only on 11 HP, and we have an Oglodi Vandal to finish it off as well. Ooh, another big item, which is very powerful. Equipped hero has +3 armor and rapid deployment. That means if your hero were to die with this item equipped, instead of having to wait 1 turn before you can redeploy at the beginning of the next round immediately. Usually, you have to wait 2 turns, or 2 rounds basically, before they can be played again, or like 1 round they have to sit out. Let's just get this and this. Doesn't really matter. We basically won the game. Maybe I should have played the Oglodi Vandal. But we're gonna be fine anyway. We're gonna be fine. Now you can see the Heartstopper aura doing some work. It's gonna deal 4 damage to the Sven, which really won't matter very much. Okay. I'm just gonna not do anything. It doesn't matter. It would reduce the damage of my Necrophos by 1, but I don't really care. Because Hellbear Crippler reduces the damage of the target that it attacks by 1. Alright. And then here... Let's see, how do we do this? We can reduce the armor of everyone here. Then we can use a Tower Barrage again. It would deal 4 damage to this guy. It will not kill the creep, unfortunately, actually. But doesn't matter. We don't really care about the hero. So now we can just shoot the creep with the Keenfolk Musket. That means that Debbie and this guy will go face. And now we basically win the game. He passed, and if he passed again, we would end it, but we can also BM and play the Oglodi Vandal, which would deal another 4 damage. And then we can taunt up our Ogre Magi. And then we can say, okay, never mind. I was just kidding. I'm taunting up my Oglodi Vandal. And I'm gonna put a sword onto my... Oh, he's thinking. The bot is thinking. He's looking for opportunities to come out of this. Alright. Oh, sorry. Because this is also interesting. Maybe I should mention this, but it's kind of obvious. You have three different slots, item slots on every hero. There's a health slot, an armor slot, and a weapons, attack damage slot. And because I already have a Traveler's Cloak on Debbie, I can't equip another one. I get a little message. But if I were to have a better health item, I could just overwrite this health item, get rid of it, and then put the better one on. But you do get a little message like this when you do that. You can also heal her. But anyway, we won the game, and this is the basic gist of it. The game might be a little overwhelming at first, but it has some incredible depth later on. And those are like some really basic decks as well. There's gonna be some really cool stuff that you can do. Like there's a Blink Dagger, which allows you to just teleport cross lanes and make some really sick plays from like multiple lanes with one character. So, for example, this guy has Heartstopper Aura, right? So it would deal 4 damage. He has 2 Heartstopper Auras. It deals 4 damage to his enemy's neighbors. So I could use a Blink Dagger on this guy and teleport him into the second lane. And if he were to go in front of the Ogre and this guy, he would suddenly deal 4 damage to both of them. Because it happens at the beginning of the combat phase, and we can like just blink him before the combat phase begins in this lane. And there's lots of cool stuff you can do in this game. I'm super excited about it. I'm gonna be playing it a bunch, and I'm gonna make some more videos explaining everything about the game. But yeah, let's win this video game, and I can't wait to go live and stream this on Sunday as well, which is probably today, because that's when the NDA drops. Alright, take care everyone, and I will see you guys soon with some other tutorial videos. Take care. Bye!